All right, we back. Appreciate everybody for checking in. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, bell icon button, share the video. Appreciate the love, support. Make sure we get it right. Hopefully, the end of the month, I'll be on StreamYard 24/7 full time. Be my last month doing this split yard bull job. But appreciate everybody for tapping in. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, bell icon button, share the video. We're gonna be talking about Zepeda and Baranchik last night. Also, I'll take a little bit about Gabriel Flores and Zaleski as well. And then we're going to talk about Wilder vilifying Mark Breland. And we're going to talk about Porter calls out Jermell Charlo. So appreciate everybody for tapping in. Don't forget you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Also got a Facebook group. All those links are in the description. If you have a business question, inquiry, sponsorship, video request, whatever the situation may be, you always hit me up. Twitter is the fastest way. Want to make a donation to the channel? Cash App on your screen, CJ Good 313. PayPal link in the description. Best way to donate is if you haven't hit the subscribe button, bell icon button. Do that, but sharing the video is the best way to donate. Now, obviously, if you got a question, you can use the super chat, but I prefer Cash App or PayPal. PayPal link in the description. So, yeah, man. I mean, we can start off a lot of different places here. Let's talk about the Flores and Zaleski fight. A lot of people think Flores is the next star. I see a lot of great things out of Gabriel Flores Jr. Things I don't like about him is he's like 20 years old and already had a back injury, had a hand injury, so the injuries are mounting up. But I didn't know he was 5'9". So, I mean, depending on, his ability, his frame's ability to put on weight, he got great size and great speed for, the super featherweight division. That's 5'9", and he got, 69.5-inch reach. He got good size. He can dominate super featherweight with that size. If he can make it that long, he can dominate lightweight. He go up to 40, 47. That's taller than Canelo and Floyd Mayweather. So, he got good reflexes. He got good athletic ability. But the last thing that's missing is kind of what's missing with Devin Haney is the ability to plant and generate power. Those guys still move a lot. And there's going to become a time, Rod Salute, there's going to come a time where you got an opponent and he not going to let you breathe, You're going to have a Chavez, Duran. You're going to have a Mauler. It could be a Darnell Boone type of journeyman. You feel what I'm saying? But at some point in your career, you're going to have somebody that's going to make you fight. And that's the evolution of a fighter. You can hit and don't get hit, and that can take you a long way in boxing. If you can box, it's going to take you tremendous length in boxing, but can you fight? Can you bang it out? Can you sit in the pocket and deliver? You know what I'm saying? Not everybody can do that. Saddam Ali, he's never learned the evolution of sitting down and striking. If Saddam Ali ain't moving, he don't feel right. And at some point, you can't move 24/7 in the fight. Versus the C level and some B level opposition, you'll be able to stick and move, and you'll be able to hold your own at that point. But at some point, you got to stand and deliver, and that's why Saddam Ali got knocked out by Carlos Abregu. That's why he lost to Jaime Munguia. Certain guys, when they move forward, they get stronger. It's like Superman in the sun. Some guys, if you let them move forward and dictate real estate, then you're going to be in trouble. So for Gabriel Flores and Devin Haney and even Shakir Stevenson, he learned to plant more. A lot of guys said, well, they can't punch. Well, it don't look like they trying to punch. You know what I'm saying? That's just my opinion on it. It don't look like they trying to punch. Even when Flores planted last night, and we're going to talk more about that with Sean Porter. Even when Flores planted last night, his second nature was to move. So he never was, my feet down planting. People talk about being flat-footed as bad. Not really. You can be flat-footed and you can cut off the ring. You don't have to be on your toes. It's good and bad with both of them. Lather, salute. That shit crazy, man. I don't talk about that shit, man. Richie, salute. Them niggas got on my nerves. But yeah, certain guys, second nature is to move. And with Flores, and even with Sean Porter, we talk about him later. He don't commit to his shots. He arm punching. And some people can punch. Some people can punch you with an arm shot and put you to sleep. But Flores and Shakir and Devin, they not those type of punchers. They need to plant and generate. But when you're in the amateurs, you're doing a lot of moving. Pro style is more sitting down and planning because you can move for 3 or 4 rounds in the amateurs if you in pretty good shape. When you talking about Line Killer Podcast, salute. When you make sure y'all check out the channel. When you talking about, that's the difference between amateurs, and I ain't trying to spend long talk about Flores, and we'll continue this conversation. We talk about Sean. The difference is in the amateurs you got 3 or 4 rounds to move. You double that, that's still not a full fight in boxing. Oh, cool. Yeah, check out Stephen Breadman gonna be on Line Killer Podcast tonight. I'm pretty sure he put the reminder. I'm not sure what time. But when you moving in the amateurs, you can move for 4 rounds. Y'all want to know why certain guys, like I remember Fernando Guerrero was supposed to be he was an amateur, he was supposed to be a great fighter. I don't know how many of y'all remember boxing Lemur. Salute. Learner, my bad. If y'all see me looking over, I'm watching the Eagles and the 49ers. And Fernando Guerrero was a tremendous amateur, and I'm about to get deep into this, and I don't even want to get deep, but I mean some people may enjoy it, some people might not. But Fernando Guerrero was a good amateur, but when he took the headgear off, he couldn't take it on the chops. You might say Salido is a bum, but he beat one of the greatest amateurs, like it or not, Lomachenko. I would love to get Joel Diaz back on, man. I'm gonna see if I can reach back out and get that contact. He would tell you the difference between amateur and professional. You know what I'm saying? And he had to teach Tim Bradley how to fight as a professional. Vanes Monterosian was another celebrated amateur. Tell you a story. I was listening to Kareem Mayfield, you know what I'm saying? And he was talking about how, this years back, how dominant Vanes was in the amateurs. The first round of this tournament he talked about, Tim Bradley threw Vanes at 152 pounds. Vanes dusted him. So if you look at Tim Bradley coming out the amateurs, and you look at him strictly from an amateur standpoint, well, you're looking at somebody that got beat in the first round by Vanes. Vanes signed with Top Rank. He was supposed to be this great fighter. I remember he fought this dude named Joe Green in the Bronx in Yankee Stadium, the new one. I think it was on the undercard of Yuri Foreman and Miguel Cotto, if my memory serves me correctly. I was on HBO. And Vanes was the next big thing. But long story short, you see how Vanes' career turned out, and you see how Tim Bradley's career turned out. True, Tim Bradley moved down to weight. Well, he moved down to 40, and Vanes moved down to 47, I think, or 54. He went up. But looking at it from an amateur standpoint of view, it's not fair to Tim Bradley. This is how you overlook the Terrence Crawfords, the Winky Wrights. If you're looking at it strictly from a amateur standpoint of view, I mean, Augie Sanchez beat Floyd Mayweather, in the amateurs. But look at Augie Sanchez's career and look at Floyd Mayweather's career. So there's a disconnect between these big promotional companies. They're not doing their proper scouting. They just looking for the gold medals and Olympic qualifiers. And of course, you have your Earl Spencers who could translate from amateur to pros. You have your Floyd Mayweathers. For one of those guys, you got a lot of amateurs that can't make that transition. And can you survive on this level and with an amateur style? Yeah, your stamina better be good. You can look at Lomachenko. You can look at Usyk. It's a lot of guys. Devin Haney still got somewhat of an amateur style, but it's starting to articulate and manifest, into a professional style. Some people may not see it. I see it. Shakur Stevenson, he's starting to fight as a pro. So for Gabriel Flores, you looking at a situation where once he started to sit down on his shots, he able to sit in the pocket and operate, he gonna be a great fighter. That's the next evolution for him. And then also, if he got to fight on the inside, can he fight on the inside? That's gonna be the difference. If he learned to fight on the inside and he learned how to sit in the pocket and operate, that's what makes Floyd so good. I say Floyd, wins with a pick. I talk about Floyd's resume being weak, and that's just live streaming itself. It is weak compared to other all-time greats. But what Floyd can do is he can sit there in front of you and you can't hit him. That's his sixth sense. He can feel when the fighter gonna punch. He able to catch, slip, roll. He able to operate from the pocket. Bernard can do it. Ward can do it. So if Gabriel Flores and the rest of these young guys want to be great, you can't just be good and satisfied with being a boxer. Boxing, it's going to sound stupid when I say this. Boxing, sticking and moving on it can take you so far. No, you have to learn how to fight. You got to learn how to fight on the inside. You got to learn how to fight in the pocket. You got to master all 3 ranges. That's the difference. And Andrew Santos, salute. All South Sports, salute. Cozy TV, I see you. Benjamin Fo salute. That's the difference. You have to master all the ranges. You Bernard did it, Ward did it, Floyd did it. You know, it's a lot of fighters able to fight on the inside, able to fight in the pocket. For Flores last night, he got rocked early on. You know, he took it like a G. You got to give it to him. He said it was more of him being off balance than being hurt, and we can give him that. But every time he punching, it's arm punches. You don't see the power being generated. So once they kind of teach him how to sit and get respect, because it's gonna be somebody he gonna fight down the line that he got to get his respect. He got to get their respect. You know, you can't box everybody. It's gonna sound stupid. You can't. Ray Leonard, you know, in the second fight he boxed Duran. The first fight he had to fight him. You know, Floyd had to fight Madonna. You know what I'm saying? It's certain fights where you just got to fight somebody. You know, so that's why it's important for you to know how to fight and how to box. And right now, Flores just don't know how to throw punches with power right now. And as he move up in weight, he going to have to learn how to sit on his punches and generate from the ground up. But with Zaleski last night, his movement was too much. Zaleski couldn't keep up, and that wasn't a full-time fighter. And they talking about him being ready for a world title fight, and I don't see it. Not saying that he not good. Jerome Pender, salute. I'm not saying he not good, but you can't go from the Zaleskis of the world, and I know he ain't never been stopped, to Jermell or to JoJo or to Oscar. Well, not Oscar, but because Oscar Valdez, he might be Miguel. I doubt it. Or the Miguel Burchetts or the Tank and the Santa Cruzes. You know, you gotta, you know, he gotta fight a Tennyson, my man's that Kenichi Ogwawi, that Tevin fought, a Tevin Farmer. He gotta fight some of the contenders down there. Jermell Corrales. You know, I don't think he's ready for Christopher Cobra yet. That's just my opinion. Not saying that, you know, Cobra might end up being a better. He might. He might not. But you can't just go from fighting Zaleski and then jump up and say you're ready for a world title fight. No, you got to get somebody in the top 15, a couple guys in the top 10, top 5 guy. So they got to move him the right way. And physically, you know, he's not even grown into his body yet. That's the issue. But he need to learn how to sit on his punches. If they gonna move all the time, somebody gonna whip him up. If they match make him wrong versus somebody, you know, he can't just stick and move. He gotta learn how to punch. And some of these dudes don't have no respect for your power. You know, Berchetta run right through you. Tanker run right through you. So he gotta get respect on his power. But you know, he had a good fight last night. Look forward to them moving him the right way. But I think his championship aspirations is a little bit premature. But Zepeda and Baranchik last night, Baranchik, whatever they want to call him. I'm calling him Baranchik on this show. And he went to sleep last night. I picked Zepeda, I think, to win by unanimous decision. And I thought it would be some knockdowns. Zepeda resumes tell you he can punch. I mean, you know, like Rod says, Zepeda, the boxer, had to fight last night. Exactly. Zepeda resume told you he can punch. So I wasn't surprised when he put Baranchik down a few times. Baranchik resume say he can punch. And if you watch him fight, he throw everything at the same speed. All really Zepeda had to do is survive the early storm. Hogman, salute. All he had to do was survive the early storm. And that's what he did. And this is what I'm talking about. It's kind of like Wilder and Fury. Fury took it. You know, Fury took Wilder punch and he put it back on and Wilder couldn't take it. Last night, Baranchik put it on Zepeda and Zepeda took it and put it back on Baranchik, and low-key Baranchik couldn't take it. That's what you're talking about. A lot of these guys that can punch, they can dish it, but they can't dish it out. Boxing history will tell you that. Hate to speak on this man's name, Gerald McClellan. He dished it on Nigel Benn, and Nigel Benn dished it back on him. And you know, they said he was suffering injuries from the Jackson fight. I think he fought Jackson twice. And Jackson was another one. He could take it, but he couldn't. He can dish it, but he couldn't take it. You know, and when you're dealing with a lot of big fighters, that big punchers, Matisse was another one. When he put it on Danny took it and he put it on him. He couldn't do nothing about it. Salute Kobe 2K fan Sean. So when you talking about big punchers, you know, Kovalev was another one. He put it on Andre. Andre took it and put it on him. So you dealing with big punchers. Once you're able to take their punishment and dish it on them, they not expecting that for real, even in this generation. You go back to George Foreman. He put it on Ali. Ali took it and put it on him. He couldn't take it. He fatigued and he mentally fatigued, you know, George Foreman. Sonny Liston was another one. He can dish it, but he couldn't take it. If you watch boxing, the history of a lot of power punchers, Mike Tyson was another one. He was mentally fragile. He can dish it, but he couldn't take it. You know what I'm saying? You keep going on and on. It's rare that you get a perfect fighter. I ain't seen him yet. Maybe Sugar Ray Robinson is the ideal fighter, but I ain't seen a fighter that got monster puncher power, a great chin, and that can box. Unbelievable. It's that fighter doesn't exist. That's like saying the perfect ball player. It doesn't exist. Everybody, they say, well, Jordan the great. Okay, you can say Jordan the great, but he ain't the perfect basketball player. You can say same thing about LeBron. He not a perfect basketball player. You know what I'm saying? In boxing, you always gonna lack something. Now it's up to your generation and era for the opponents that you fight to bring it out. But Zepeda showed you last night, I can box, I can bang, I can stick and move. He made a lot of mistakes last night though. And Baranchyk and Pedro Diaz did a great job. Baranchyk knew when he came straight in and dipped his head and led with a left hook or overhand right or a right hook, he knew Zepeda was going to drop his hands and going to go straight up. That's what Zepeda did. If Zepeda kept his head down, his chin chuck and did like that, Zepeda wouldn't have took as much punishment. But every time Baranchyk came in, Zepeda did this. Everything came up. And Baranchyk was just nailing them. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't trying to, punch in between Baranchyk's shots. That was the difference. Zepeda was moving back and dropping his hands. And Baranchyk, he took advantage of it. Now, for Baranchyk, his greatest downfall was throwing everything hard to the head. Had Baranchyk drop some of them punches to the body, then we talking about a different fight. He hurt Zepeda to the head. All he had to do was kill the body. He didn't commit no shots to the body for real. If he did a body shot, that was just because Zepeda hit him with a body shot. He said when Haney move up to 40, he'll be ranked high in the WBC. I expect Zepeda WBC champ by then. I want Haney to fight him when he move up. I maybe. I mean, Zepeda can also get the WBO too, I heard. Rod said, to be honest, Zepeda beat Ramirez, but Ramirez was in first one, which his hometown. He got denied. I had that fight 8-4 Zepeda. A lot of people have been telling me that lately, when the fight happened, that they thought Zepeda beat Ramirez, But, to go on with that fight, we can talk about the fundamental flaws of Baranchik. We can talk about that all day. Him not changing the speed of shots, throwing everything at one punch, him dropping his hands, him coming in reckless, but at least he tucked his chin and ducked his head. He setting up the double jab, and sometimes he jab lazy, and that's what got him knocked out. But, he did a great job of closing the distance, cutting the ring off. He did a great job of knowing that Zepeda his chin was going to flounder straight up in the air, and he was pinpoint accurate. The only difference is, he didn't have no respect for Zepeda power. And him and Zepeda didn't have no respect for each other power. That's what made the fight so good. They would trade, in the clinch, they would trade, everywhere. And it was basically who took their shots better, who got off first, whose shots was shorter. Baranchyk, his shots were shorter, and they was quicker. He knocked Zepeda down. When Zepeda knocked him down, his shots were shorter and quicker. But Zepeda got a bad habit of dropping them hands and moving straight back. He got a bad habit of doing that. How many fighters at 40 can do what Baranchyk did as far as the style? Maybe that kid that fought Barrios on the Pacquiao and Thurman undercard. But, he just got a bad habit, but he can box. All they knockdowns was capitalizing off mistakes. It wasn't like, he earned that knock. No. It was whoever, got in position, whoever shot was shorter, whoever landed first. They had no fear for each other power. None at all. They had no respect. And that hurt. That hurt Baranchyk. We could say that. Baranchyk didn't have no respect for his power. Baranchyk got reckless, he got careless, and you got to respect somebody who bringing in 25 knockouts and 36, 37 fights. He can punch. He can punch. And if he didn't respect this, they had no respect for each other. Baranchyk was hurt, I think the second round, because he knocked down Zepeda too. he was hurt. Baranchik was hurt. He was on wobbly legs. Zepeda didn't capitalize off. He kept head hunting. You know, and the guy who went to the body ended up winning this fight. Zepeda went to the body. But the knockout, what happened with the knockout was this. Baranchik threw a lazy jab. Now, the funny about it is, Zepeda been setting this shot up the whole night. When Zepeda got knocked down one time, he tried to come over the top with an overhand with a right, and he tried to come back with a left hook. Baranchik dropped him. He dropped the right. He tried to come back with the left. Baranchik punches was shorter and he was tighter inside. And plus, Zepeda was off balance. Once again, Zepeda moved backwards with his chin up, hands down. He in the turnbuckle. He tries to throw the same combination he knocked him out with. He tried to throw a right hand over the top and a left hook. He was just out of position. You know, Baranchik was on balance more. You know, ooh, damn, Carson Wentz can't get a break. Baranchik was on balance more because he was on the front foot. Baranchik was Zepeda was leaning back into the turnbuckle, and Baranchik got the best of that exchange. Now the knockout, Baranchik threw a lazy jab, and Zepeda came with the same combination, over the top with a right hand, and he came back with the backhand left hook and knocked him out. The very same combination that got him knocked down, Zepeda, is what won him to fight. The very same combination. Because Zepeda got knocked down trying to do the same punch, but that's the difference. That's the difference of position in real estate. He seen something and he wasn't scared to try it over again. And Baranchik, you know, I think he was just starting to wear down. He threw a lazy jab, and this time he didn't have a position. He was out of position for throwing a lazy jab all lazy and hard. And Zepeda came over the top. It was nature. He didn't even load up on the left hook. He came up high with the right, put him in position for the left hook, and that was it. And that's funny. Boxing is a game of real estate. That's what it is. Boxing is a game of real estate. In position. Zepeda was in position, you know, to win for that knockout. Baranchik was in position for the knockdown. And, you know, looking at that fight, you got to ask yourself, you know, when should they come back? And make sure I hit the thumbs up button. When should they come back? Because that was a brutal fight. Baranchik can never be the same. Baranchik won't be the same no more. We can bet on that. Baranchik will not be the same. It won't happen. Zepeda, he took some punishment. If I'm him, I'm taking about 9 or 12 months off. That's me personally. I'm taking a long time off because that was a brutal fight. Baranchik can punch. Zepeda can punch. So, you know, you would like to see them running back again with fans, but not until they get their life together. And this kind of remind me of Luis Matisse versus what's the kid name? Matisse versus Ruslan Provodnikov. You know what I'm saying? Neither one of the fighters was the same after that fight. Zach, I see you. Excuse me. Neither one of them was the same after that fight. And Matisse had fought a murderous row of punchers. Danny, Roberto Ortiz. He fought, what's the old boy name that's a police officer? John Molina. He fought Provodnikov in some type of order. I think that was the order he kind of fought him in. Ortiz had a high knockout ratio. Him and John Molina had one of the best fights I've seen too. You know, and John Molina took everything Matisse got, and Matisse took everything he got. But after that Provodnikov fight, Matisse wasn't the same. Provodnikov wasn't the same. Now, there has been some guys that survived wars like that and that went on to be good, you know, went on to still have good careers. You know what I'm saying? It was one guy I was just thinking in my head. Timothy Brown, he had a war with Ruslan Provodnikov, and he still went on to have a great career. I'm not sure if that was before the Marquez fight, but he had a war with Provodnikov and still had a good career. You know, you see all them fighters like Jake LaManna, he was in wars. Marvin Hagler was in a lot of wars. I mean, Tommy was knocked out. I mean, you know, a lot of these dudes took a lot of punishment. Chris Algieri took a lot of punishment versus Ruslan Provodnikov. I mean, you can just go on and on. And some of these dudes, they made it. You seen guys in wars and they come back, and I mean, depends on how you built. He said top rank, Ali313 says top rank is going to get Zepeda the vacant WBC and get Pedraza the vacant WBO and Pedraza to Tio I'm calling. I could see that. Baranchik, always reckless. He walk in to get hit by everything. He was getting dropped by Journeyman before the WBC, the World Box Super Series. Zach salute. He said, yeah, Bradley and Provodnikov was a war. Also, yeah. He said that was before. Yeah, it had to be before. Yeah, it was before. And that was probably Tim Bradley's most gratifying and satisfying win. But, I mean, for Baranchik, I think he shouldn't even fight for like a year. You know what I'm saying? They should get them fight bonuses, man. This is the fight boxing was missing. Derevchenko and Charlo was cool last night, but nobody got a chance to see it. And Charlo and Rosario was a good fight. But this topped them all. You know, this fight should have been on ESPN. This is what boxing was missing. Boxing was missing this type of fight. You know, two guys that wasn't scared to lose, who had losses on their resume, who originally the fight was scheduled to go on during the pandemic. Baranchik got an injury. Carson Wentz touchdown. He got an injury, and they ran it back again. Lothario, salute. This is the fight boxing been missing. This is what the fans want. If this was on Fox or ESPN or ABC, these dudes would be immortalized. It ain't like they bad fighters. It was a lot of skill involved. You know, this is David Green salute. This is what the game been missing. This is what we've been missing. A lot of these dudes scared to have these type of fights. Everybody want to hit and get hit and miss. And that's what boxing is about. It's a sweet side, but everybody don't have that ability. Everybody want to hit and don't get hit and be pretty. I mean, we need the warriors too, man. We need the Wars, the Gottis, you know what I'm saying? The Chavez's, the Durans, the Tommies, the Marvin Haglers. We need those warriors too. Sugar Ray Robinson and Leonard, they weren't scared to get their hands dirty if they had to. I remember a couple of weeks ago, we talked about Sean and Jermell, we talked that shit up. I remember Baranchik got dropped by Ramos, the guy on Showbox. He walked right in, man. Don't move his head. Don't change the speed of his punches. You know what I'm saying? That's just his style. If you can't take pressure and power, you know, Zepeda Baranchik gonna get you. But if you could take it and put it back on him, you know, he can't deal with that. Not enough risk takers, but not at all. These dudes won't even risk, you know, fighting other champions, other title holders. You know, only people that want to take a risk is guys like Mikey Garcia, Kell Brook, and Mir Khan jumping up 2 or 3 weight classes. These dudes don't want to take no. Yeah, Salido and Vargas were too. Yep, Salido and Rocky Martinez was too. That was a good fight too. That was on the Floyd Mayweather and Berto undercard. That was a great undercard. Main event wasn't shit though. But yeah, man, that was a good fight last night. Hopefully they both safe and somewhere down the road maybe they can run it back. But Baranchik was still in the hospital. Lou DiBella said, and he was doing well. So I mean, the way he got knocked out, you can tell he was out before he hit the canvas. His back leg bent. You know, he could have tore his ACL. And Zepeda, man, whew. You know, he from Long Beach too, man. He did his thing. You got to give him some credit, man. He fought like a G. But yeah, man, great fight. If you missed it last night, I told y'all that was gonna be a good fight. I told y'all this was gonna be a good fight. Ain't nobody want to believe me. That fight was worth a prediction video, and it was worth me going live. I just didn't feel like it. I knew that fight couldn't miss. I knew that fight couldn't miss. You know what I'm saying? I knew what Baranchik was, Baranchyk, whatever you want to call it, Baranchik. I knew what Zepeda was. I said that fight was going to be a good fight. He said, I appreciate you covering these type of fights because most of these MFers with channels are not real boxing fans and talk about the same guys. I told you, yeah, man. I knew this was going to be a barn burner. You know, I watch all the boxing. Small boxing, tall, big boxers, anything in between. That 52 salute. I knew this was going to be that type of... I didn't know it was going to be that type of fight, but I knew it was a good style mix-up. Top Rank got the best matchmakers in the world because they've been in it longer. I hate to say it was as black man, but they need Dana White to take over boxing. They do. Don't nobody want to play around. Al Heyman want to hold grudges, rightfully so. All Bob Arum got to do is issue a public apology. That might work. But Bob Arum too proud. He ain't stooping down to no nigga. I'll tell you that right now.
I'm not going to apologize to that Negro. Al Heyman, are you crazy, Todd? I don't give a hell if Terrence Crawford fights Errol Spence. As long as Lomachenko gets the fights that he needs, I am not saying sorry to that black Hitler, Al Heyman. I refuse this. You already know.
Bob Arum would rather take his own life or die before he apologize to a black man. Y'all don't want to admit that, but that's true. He think he the superior. They really think they the superior people. That's why he's trying to push Lomachenko down their throats. And that's cool though. Teofimo Lopez. I mean, I don't see no fight. Let me say that. I don't see no fight topping that fight last night this month. Ruben Villa and Emmanuel Navete. That's a nice fight, but Villa ain't got no knockouts. It was supposed to be Lipinets and Qdoba this weekend. Qdoba couldn't get his visa. They got to postpone that Showtime card. I mean, you got T.O. and Loma. I don't see it. I mean, if it ain't going to live up to that action pack wise. It ain't going to live up to that. So you look at it, New York and Jason Maloney, it could. I doubt it. Tank and Leo, not a chance. Leo ain't got that type of power. If he do put down Tank, it's just gonna be because Tank tired. They don't bring that type of energy. You know what I'm saying? I'll be damned if I pay for Leo and Tank Davis. Now, if Gary got in there with Tank or Leo, I'll think about it. But, I mean, it is what it is. I think they re-showed the Charlo fights last night, but I wasn't paying no attention. I was on ESPN. I only seen the two fights, the co-main event and the feature. But, like I said before, man, a lot of these dudes they not boxing fans. He said Leo and Tank gonna sell 100 pay-per-views. Probably so. It might sell more. But I ain't paying for it. I mean, why would I pay for a pay-per-view on Halloween when I could do so many things, and then by the time the pay-per-view over with, it's going to be on YouTube? So, we at the point where, I might just be watching scary movies that day. I mean, that's the time when we off. Give me a minute. I'm trying to see what day that falls on. Yeah, so I'm not paying for that shit. Yeah, out they mind. Two fighters that duck the best constantly in their career. I mean, I don't care if that shit a classic or not. If it's better than Baranchik and Zepeda, I mean, so be it, man. But I ain't paying $100. They out they mind. Steven Espinosa said they was gonna reduce the pay-per-view price. They ain't reduced nothing. I guess this that before you talk about Wilder. Oh, 49ers about to score. Ooh, wow. Number 11 just jumped over Eagle and caught his stride. That was sweet. I ain't seen no shit like that. You ever see somebody jump over somebody and don't lose their stride? That shit was dope. That shit is definitely gonna be on ESPN. They showing it again. It's their rookie. I can't pronounce it. Ayuka. I think it was their first round receiver. He caught it in the screen. Whoever he jumped over. Ooh, somebody pulled up limp. He jumped over my man's and kept his stride. That was dope. Number 22. Whoever you is on the Eagles, man, go retire yourself, bro. Retire. You just got jumped over, bro. Oh, my God, dog. That shit was sweet as hell. Light Skin took an L on that one. Darks won that one. Brandon Ayuka. I don't know his name. Okay. I'm sorry talking football, but they showing, and from college he was jumping over motherfuckers in the alley drill. So this is what he do. Oh, Darius Slay got injured, damn. But this is what he do. But let's keep it moving. All right, he says the only thing they gonna reduce a pay-per-view price. I ain't buying it. The only thing they gonna reduce are pay-per-view views. Yep, I ain't buying that shit. At all. And then they want you to turn around 3 weeks later and buy Errol Spence and Danny Garcia. I ain't buying that neither. But Top Rank giving you the Baranchik Zepeda for ESPN Plus, and if you switch your plan on Verizon, you get ESPN of Hulu and Disney for free. You know, then look at Top Rank. They give you Baranchik Zepeda. This week they give you Ruben Villa and Emmanuel Nevetes. The following week you get Teofimo Lopez and Lomachenko. And then a couple weeks after that you get Terrence Crawford and Kell Brook all for free. So, but yeah, let's talk about Wilder. I told y'all he fired Mark Breland. Me and Lion Killer said this months ago that they said that they fired Mark Breland. All right, and Mark Breland ain't gonna say nothing, and credit to him for being respectful. But then again, they sit here and they vilify Mark Breland because remember when you fire Mark Breland and you say somebody poisoned your water and somebody loaded your raps and all that. They making it seem like Mark Breland was the mold. Now, if Mark Breland was the mold and he was the one that set up Wilder, then come out here and make a statement. That's all I'm saying. But they owe Mark Breland an apology. Mark Breland, they would say, and people say, well, they got crunk connection between him and Sugar Hill. All right, if Mark Breland poisoned your water, then we need you to come out and say it. But we know why he fired Mark Breland, neutral natural for real. Y'all know why he fired Mark Breland? Let me see in the comment section. Do y'all know why he fired Mark Breland? They had to wait to fire him or else they would look. Man, they been fired him. We knew that 2 or 3 months ago they been fired him. We been reported that. But y'all know why he retired? Why? There's a couple reasons why they fired him. The one reason they retired him because he threw that towel in. The other reason they fired Mark Breland. The only reason they fired Mark Breland, the other reason, is because they needed an excuse. They needed an excuse. They needed a scapegoat. Well, we had to all time. He had something in his glove. Just do your common sense. Jay Diaz was in the room when Fury was getting his gloves wrapped. So if Fury had something in his gloves, that's on Jay Diaz. Jay Diaz made the excuse about the costume, saying the costume might have been too heavy after the fight. And I'm telling y'all, man, it's nothing different in the black community, bro. Ain't nothing gonna change. We gonna continue. Give me a minute. Hold on. We gonna continue to blame out of all the people in the camp. Jay Diaz, what the fuck you know about boxing? Please tell me. No, I don't want to hear none of this to this day shit. You scapegoated the brother because he saved your life. First, it was him and Anthony Durrell conspired to cheat for Tyson Fury. If anything, Anthony Durrell just looked out. Andre Durrell just looked out for you. Let's be honest. Excuse me, my neck be hurting. Let's be honest. Did anybody think Deontay Wilder was going to come back from that ass whooping? If everybody was in that corner, that was your son, that was your brother, that was your, that was somebody you close to. I remember Diego Corrales' stepdaddy threw the towel in for him versus Floyd. He was mad at his stepdaddy. But he went on to fight on. If that was my son in there, that's how I look at it. Taking abuse like that, I'm throwing that towel in. Care what the fuck he say. And if he had something in his glove, or you wasn't feeling right, how can you blame Mark Breland for saving your life? And Deontay come out here talk all that black shit, but turn around and do some raccoon stuff. Jay Diaz's manager he have too much suits. My thing is, what is Jay Diaz's background? I've never heard of him before. Wilder. He said, I got a love for Wilder, but he was a cupcaking too much with his girl when he should have been in war mode. Freddie Free. Wilder went ghost after that twerking stuff. Man, like I said before, at the end of the day, he made that man look bad. They did all this blaming. He fired that man because he threw that towel in. And he needed a scapegoat. I'm telling y'all, man, you gotta lose respect for a guy like that. If Mark Breland came out and did something bad, come on and say it. Come on and address it. Tell us why you fired Mark Breland. But you didn't fire Shelly Finkel. You didn't fire Al Heyman. You didn't fire Jay Diaz. When Shelly Finkel and Al Heyman gave the IBF belt to Anthony Joshua. When they told you not to take the deal with the Zone. Y'all was trying to smoke AJ out, right? Y'all was trying to smoke AJ out, and they went to go get Tyson Fury. Any matchmaker in the world knew Tyson Fury was a bad stylistic style for Wilder. They went and got the one guy that could whoop your ass. So why you ain't firing Shelly Finkel? And Shelly Finkel brought Mark Breland into the team. Think about that for a minute. Shelly Finkel brought Mark Breland in. Shelly Finkel was Mark Breland's manager or financial advisor, whatever it was. So if Breland was a mole, why you ain't firing Shelly Finkel? Shelly Finkel brought him into the circle. Then he fires Mark Breland and he elevates Malik Scott to head. Man, just put a nail in him. Put a nail in him. Hold on. Put a nail in him. At least you can clear that man's name. At least he can say, you know what? We just, different ways. I didn't like the way Mark Breland threw that towel in. I ain't like it. Oh, it wasn't nothing about him poisoning the water. It wasn't nothing about the gloves. Now who gonna want Mark Breland to train them, other than Tyson Fury? Who gonna want Mark Breland to train them? Now they think he poisoned his water. Now they think he let him put something in his gloves. He just blacklisted a brother not to get a job for the rest of his career. But you keep them two honkies on the team though. You know what I'm saying? You keep them two guys on the team. But you ain't fire Al Heyman. That's what be killing me, dog. They scapegoated Mark Breland for what? Shelly Finkel brought him to the team. Al Heyman and Shelly Finkel made Anthony Joshua a champion. He made him a champion. Why you ain't getting that Al? That's what I be talking about, man. Everybody want to preach that black unity shit. That shit don't exist. That black unity shit don't exist. Look how he did him. Just fired him. He fired him for throwing that towel in. Weak. So next time when Tyson Fury beating the shit out of him, I don't want to hear nobody throw that towel in. Let that white boy beat the shit out. Die in the ring. Nigga, are you stupid? You got kids. Talking about you die in the ring. Do you got a wheel? The stupid shit you hear people say, I'm a warrior. I died in the ring. You know it ain't no coming back from death. You got daughters and you got a mama. You got a father. You got a girl. And you talking about, I wanted to go out on my shit. Nigga, your eyes was dilated, bro. He was beating you like your name was Kunta, and by the time you got knocked out, your name was Kobe. And what I don't get is this. If this man had a legal weapon in his hand, right, in his glove, or he poisoned your water, and the autopsy said if you'd have took more damage, it would have been permanent damage or death. If this man saved you from death or saved you from permanent damage, why he fired? And then why y'all can't address what really happened? At least give us an explanation. Oh, we fired Mark Breland because he threw the towel in. Cool. Now Mark Breland go out there and get more work. But now, the water. This man, I lost a lot of respect for Deontay Wilder, bro. I lost a lot of respect for him. Javier Carlos Rodriguez said, load up Deontay on the gear, have him hit a bunch of Olympic lifts and sprints. Cozy TV said, Abu Young, amateur. Nutra Natural said, I wish Breland trained. The U.S. Olympians need to learn how to clinch Deontay Wilder. He damn near ended that man, Benjamin Foe. Kobe 2K fan said he probably doesn't have life insurance. Benjamin Foe ear was bleeding. C4 salute. He said black people were upset when he got beat up on Black History Month. Facts. Isn't an autopsy dead? Yep, it's dead. It's like when you give a cause for death after you die. This is a toilet bowl game right here. And that's what it is. You gonna fire it. Man, you just can't make this up, bro. You just lose a lot of respect. And Mark Breland should take that job with Tyson Fury now. Go get your money, Mark Breland. Take that job with him. I would. You know what I'd do? I'll piss in a water bottle at the press conference and hand it to Deontay water. Say, drink this gorilla piss in my Floyd voice. So, basically, Deontay gonna run with Malik Scott and Jay Diaz. Ooh. Double blitz up the Z and they gap. So, he gonna run with Malik Scott and Jay Diaz as a coach. I know Malik Scott being in the ring, Woody from Philly, all that good stuff. So, what can they tell you that they didn't tell you what Mark Breland was doing wrong in the first fight? That's my thing about it. Only thing different in this fight gonna be, unless he bring in Floyd, George Foreman, or somebody like that, only thing different is gonna be his dedication to this fight. If he wins, it's gonna be because he was more dedicated. He ain't chasing no pussy. He secluded. He lifting. He doing everything he supposed to do. He running miles. His preparation is gonna be the difference. Not Mark Breland. Oh, Jimmy G ain't playing, bro. He out. This some dude named Mullins. So yeah. Philly up 8-7. I don't know why they went for 2. Don't ask. So you do that to Mark Breland, you don't even get to ask for, and you fired him months ago. First you mad he threw the towel in, then somebody poison your water, then somebody he had something in his glove. It kind of almost make you want to root for Tyson Fury, bro. It almost make you want to root for Tyson Fury. I wonder if he say, hey man, Al, why you can make Anthony Joshua a champion? He ain't gonna gorilla check Al. Al will put that motherfucker on. Al had Deontay Wilder head next to his deer on his wall. Wilder flaws got his chasing that pussy. What George Clinton say? Why should I chase the cat? Bow wow wow yippee yo yippee yay. It's just the dog game. I remember the Q dogs used to get to stumping when that song came on. My brother, get out the way. I said, man, they got to beat my ass. My man had to get my ass whooped up in this club. We was in Montgomery. I had this place. We was at the Alcazar. I think they called it the Alcazar. I said, they got to whoop my ass in this motherfucker. I ain't moving nowhere. They got to whoop my ass. Shit. They got to beat your boy CJ down. And plus, believe me, I was going with 56 say get the strap. Oh, I was going to lay all them niggas down. I don't care. I was getting the strap. I spent time in Montgomery City Jail. Man, over some pussy. Somebody wanted to fight over some pussy. I bet he won't remember that. He won't forget that ass whooping. I was on my way to history. I forgot what class. Social studies. I was on my way to some class. This man crying over some girl that he ain't even with no more. It's crazy. These niggas really be fighting. He said Malik Scott was passive, Freddie Free, and mostly tried to survive his fights. I don't see him back. Well, no, you can't put his shortcomings in the ring over his IQ. You can't do that. Because then how can you say Freddie Rocher's a great fighter? A piss poor fighter and a great trainer. Robert Garcia was a world champion, but he wasn't no blue chip fighter. Floyd Senior, he was a good fighter, but he wasn't no champion. Roger was a great fighter, but he really wasn't a creme de la creme. So, in my opinion, solid to shitty ass athletes make the best coaches. Rick Carlisle, Doc Rivers, he was okay. Byron Scott was a cool player. But usually greats like Nas said in the J. Cole, you let Nas down remix. He said it's hard for another great to tell somebody how to be great. Because a lot of times a great person, greatness, it's hard to articulate that or pass that down. Now somebody that don't have the athletic skills or, Sean McVay, I don't know if people knew this. Did anybody know that Sean McVay beat Calvin Johnson out for Mr. Georgia football? I'm pretty sure Georgians knew, people from Georgia. Did y'all know that? Sean McVay, the head coach of the Los Angeles Rams, he beat Calvin Johnson for Mr. Football in Georgia. I mean, I was mind blown when I learned that. You talking about Calvin Johnson, who, you know, he could have been pro in baseball or football. You talking about 6'5" Calvin Johnson that run a 4.38, 4.34. So it's hard for somebody to really, you know. I think you know, if I had to give a list of fighters that I think that were great, that can be a good coach, it would probably be Mike Tyson. He might knock some of his fighters out before the fight. I think Mike Tyson. I think Bernard Hopkins would be a good coach. I think Floyd Mayweather. I think Andre Ward would be a good coach. I mean, then you look at Ronnie Shields. He was a good fighter, and Buddy McGurk was a good fighter, but they wasn't lighting the world on fire. They was good coaches. I remember, this is funny shit right here before I finish on Wilder. I don't know how many people remember this. Remember when Pernell Whitaker trained Zab Judah? And I think he trained Zab Judah for the Khan fight. I can't remember what fight it was. I want to say it was the Khan fight. And he had Zab in there trying to fight like Pernell Whitaker. He had Zab getting low, slipping shots, and it wasn't Zab's style. Pernell was trying to teach Zab how to be Pernell, but it didn't work. It didn't work. So Pernell just did stuff that was second nature. It was just natural to him. So the Freddie Roaches, the Robert Garcias, the Ronnie Shields, the Buddy McGurks, they make the best coaches. You know, it's hard to get a great fighter to be a coach. I think Mike can do it. I think you give Mike 1 or 2 or 3 good fighters, give him an amateur, give him a guy that just turned professional, and probably give him a contender. Sean Porter trained with Mike Tyson. Sean Porter probably be the best welterweight right now. He said it was. I thought it was. He'd probably be the best welterweight right now. Give it to Gervonta Tank Davis. He'd be on point. I think Tyson should train guys like Tank, Sean Porter. That'd be a perfect match for him. Mike McCullough was a good coach and a good fighter. I mean, he in Devin Haney corner. I don't really see the influence yet. He ain't been there long. I mean, Eddie Mustafa Muhammad, John David Jackson made a good coach. He was a title holder, a champion at 154 pounds, WBI I think it was. So you got some really good ones out there that was coaches. But, you know, for him, long story short, for him to throw, you know, Breland under the and then not to come out and say it, though, to me, was pussy. You know, for him not to come out and say, you know what, they got Carson Wentz at receiver. This shit's funny. You know, for them to come out and say, well, Shelly Finkel come out and say, well, Mark Breland's no longer with the team. Well, we knew that. Why can't Wilder come out and say that? And I remember the day where I got mad at Badu Jack, right? Eddie Mustafa Muhammad, he was on somebody's channel, Hustle Boss or the Mayweather channel. Back be cracking. And he was talking about how Badu Jack broke up with him. Badu Jack fired Eddie Mustafa Muhammad through text message. He was a pussy. And Wilder did it even worse. He fired Mark Breland through Shelly Finkel. Why he can't get on Instagram and say, yo, King is here. Nice. Eyes fires. Mark's breathing for us. He turns into tiles. Okay. Now we all knows that the bronze bomber, he never quits. So when he threw that tiles in, I told Shelly, we got to get rid of him. Okay? I mentally and spiritually feel that it was the right move to make. That's all you had to come out and say. He's speaking through motherfuckers. That shit weak to me. To this day, you speaking through people. If I was Mark Breland, dude, I'd go right over there and take that Tyson Fury job. I'd be right there in UK. And it's bad when you got a nigga like me who been riding with Wilder since he beat Stavern. I didn't think he was gonna be that good under that. Before that, I'll be honest. To sit here and kind of say, you know what? It wouldn't be bad for that white boy to put it on his ass. But I still ain't riding with him. I'm just gonna be neutral. You know, and I know Wilder be watching the videos and he's sensitive to what people say. Well, man, most people ain't gonna like my channel. It don't really matter to me. Most people ain't gonna like. I don't care. I don't interview fighters. If I do start back doing interviews, it's gonna be trainers and ex-fighters. That's it. That's it. I don't want to be talking to y'all because y'all sensitive. You know, you talk about, he got, man, these dudes be trying to cancel dudes. They be trying to text other people and don't talk. I ain't got time for that. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button. Like I said before, I'm not going to agree with everything that Deontay did. You know, my favorite basketball player, Allen Iverson, Reggie Miller, Kevin Garnett. I mean, I never agree with everything they did. I remember Anthony Peeler pieced up Kevin Garnett. I ain't jump off the Garnett bandwagon. Still a Garnett fan. I'm a diehard Garnett fan. All the guys I named, diehard. But when they do something wrong, I gotta keep it 100. I ain't no blind apologist. You know, same thing, when Barry retired, I didn't, people in the Detroit was mad. He quit. I mean, this sorry ass team, I don't blame him. But usually when you get a lot of criticism from people who ain't never put their body through that type of pain. It'd be funny, people be talking about basketball players hooping, boxing, and fight. They ain't never trained for nothing. Ain't never took a yoga class. If they took a yoga class, they'd probably tap out. They ain't never picked up a weight. They ain't never did a pull-up. There'd be people talking who ain't never trained in their life. If you know what it is to be prepared for any type of athletic activity, it's hell. It's hell. When these dudes quit or say I'm done, I ain't mad at them. When Victor Ortiz quit, so, man, come on. Somebody go upside your head like Madonna was, shit. Make you want to holler? So I don't blame him. I ain't put the pads on. I done squared all that shit hard as hell. I ain't never disrespecting the game. That shit hard as hell. Them hot summer days and, man, that shit hard as hell. Running cross country for basketball, that shit hard as hell. Fighting, hard as hell. I ain't knocking none of these dudes to their dedication, none of that, man. Because it's hard. I'm still dealing with neck injuries, back, and all that shit. It's hard. But the way he did Breland, I just can't respect it. Don't say I'm not a supporter of Deontay Wilder still. But he doing all this hiding and speaking through people, man, be a man. You got a publicist release a statement. That's my thing about it. But let's move on. Damn commercial break. And don't ask me about the NBA Finals. I ain't watching that shit. The sport of boxing needs Fury to fold Wilder a third time. I mean, if he loses to Fury again, I think he should retire. I don't think he want to start back to making peanuts. What he gonna do, an Ortiz trilogy? Wilder should have been a better at holding on the end. It ain't even that. It ain't about that. He don't have basic fundamentals, bro. His leg. I hate the dudes with the wide base. Like you can't be mobile with that base that wide. So you better be able to hit the target. What, they gave Terry Bradshaw his own TV show? This shit crazy. It's a lot of this fundamental things. If he had a jab, he able to work his jab up and down. I mean, he need to be on his balance. Need to be better. He need to be on his toes. He need to learn how to shoot the jab. He need to know how to throw combinations. He need to know how to hold his own on the inside. He need to know how to drop the jab to the body. I mean, it's a lot of things that he missing. It's a miracle. What Biggie say? Biggie off the street. It's a miracle that he got by this far. He need to do everything. His physical training is garbage. His strength and conditioning is garbage. The one advantage you got being 50 pounds lighter, you should have better gas. But you know what? He wasn't the faster fighter. He wasn't the sharper fighter. He wasn't the strong. He had no advantage. Tyson Fury came in 280. To his 230, whatever it was, 270 something. He was bigger, stronger, faster, better chin. When you come in that light, you better be able to have a speed advantage. You better be able to have a stamina advantage. That's the problem. That's the problem. When you talking about in this situation, this is a smaller guy fighting a bigger guy. When these dudes move up, you got to beat dudes with IQ. your intellect, your speed. That's your biggest advantage. When you moving up in weight is your speed. Your skills got to show. You can't move up in weight if you don't have the skills and the speed. He don't have the skills or the speed. He doesn't have no advantage versus Fury. So he got to change that. Getting his jab together. I mean, first he got to get his strength and conditioning together. The leg game, that's going to be tremendous. But, I mean, we ain't here to get this nigga game plan. I mean, we got plenty of time for that. But let's talk about Porter. Apparently, I didn't see where he called him out at. But I seen a lot of people talk about it. And apparently, Sean Porter said if he don't get the Bud and Errol Spence rematch, he'll fight Jermell Charlo. You know what? You can't cry. You can't complain over that. This is what Sean Porter's supposed to do. Do you think Floyd can help Wilder to beat Fury? I mean, say that question for the end, man. I'm going to do Q&A in a minute. I ain't going to be on too much longer. I got to go hit the road. This nigga Mason sleep. But, you look at Jermell and Sean. This is what Sean supposed to do. I mean, where else does Jermell Charlo get a money fight at? This might sound funny as hell. But, Sean Porter is Jermell's biggest fight at 54. If Oscar don't come out of retirement. It's his biggest fight regardless. He can't go to 160 and get a fight unless he fight his brother. He can't get a fight at 154. This is legit his financial freedom right here. Him and Sean Porter is the biggest fight Jermell Charlo gonna be into. Who else can he fight? Even if he fought Jared Hurd when they had all the belts, Sean Porter's still a bigger fighter. Jared ain't never been on pay-per-view. Won't never be on pay-per-view the way he going. All right. I mean, Sean Porter been on pay-per-view. This is what Sean Porter supposed to do. He fought everybody at welterweight. If you ain't gonna fight Bud, you supposed to go up and fight him. Charlo got 4 belts: the WBC, the Super WBA, the WBC, and the ring belt. He might go in there and get Jermell some problems. Like C4 said, hell yeah, he might give him some problems. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of those dudes should be looking to fight Jermell Charlo. Because it's not too much. He not a complex fighter. You know what I'm saying? He said, I'd rather see Charlo and... I mean, I prefer Porter and Charlo. I mean, y'all done asked Bud. He started at 40, moved to 35, completed at 35, 40, 47. So why do I want to see a dude that competed at... lightweight and junior welterweight fight a junior middleweight? To be honest, Sean Porter probably got a better chance of beating Jermell than Terrence. You know why? Because Porter started off as he's fought as high as light heavyweight, super middleweight, junior middleweight. So in Sean Porter, his style is designed. Kenny designed that style to fight taller fighters. And Jermell Charlo ain't invincible. Jermell is far from invincible. Jermell got a lot of mistakes that just, the Lubins, the Hers, the Lara, they just can't take advantage of it. Jermell is in the right spot at the right time. Jermell is in the right spot at the right time. Oh, Mullins threw a pick. We be coming round the mountain when we come up. Got caught. So when you look at a situation like that, I mean, Porter, he's fought at the weight. He's a naturally big guy. You know what I'm saying? To beat Charlo, you got to pressure him. He got to fight the perfect fight too. But it's a winnable fight. Jermell ain't invincible. Yeah, he get by just because can't nobody exploit his weaknesses. That's the difference. But he ain't the most polished fighter in the world at all. Just around his weight class, ain't nobody can beat him. He said, Manny 53 say Spence stuck at 47 because he don't want to move up and whoop his boys. He don't have to whoop them. Jermell not gonna carry all 4 or 5 belts. He gonna release some belts. Jamal about to move up to 68. So that's not a problem. Because, whoever unify the belts, they don't keep it long because then that's like 2% out your check each fight, each belt. So that ain't no issue. He can fight, Hurd for a belt. He can fight Lubin for a belt. So that's not an issue. Jermell's not going to hold them belts for a lifetime. Nobody ever does. So my whole thing is, like I said before, this was what Spence post. I mean, this was what Porter supposed to do. You see an opportunity, strike. Real talk. That's just what it is. See an opportunity, you strike. Strike first, strike fast. No mercy. That's what it's about. He seen an opportunity, take it. If Sean Porter beat Jermell Charlo, he a Hall of Famer instantly. You know, you see a shot where a dude got 3 or 4 belts. I can take 3 or 4 belts and be the man at 54. Why not? We know Spence ain't gonna fight Jermell. You know what I'm saying? We know Keith Thurman ain't going to be off the porch. So it's really the race to him and Danny Garcia. And Danny Garcia ain't got no chance of beating that boy. None. So really, Sean Porter's the only... Sean Porter don't have nothing else to prove. He got beat up by everybody. He beat Danny, that's it. He lost to Kel. He beat Devin when he was on opiates. He beat Devin for the IBF when it should have been Kell Brook and Devin. He came back and lost to Kell Brook. He lost to Keith Thurman. He beat Danny Garcia. So, I mean, what else do we got to prove? He don't want to get Ugas a rematch. So, if I'm Sean Porter, I'm Errol Spence, why do I want to give you a rematch? If I'm Keith Thurman, why do I want to give you a rematch? Even though Danny lost, Sean Porter still was pursuing the Danny Garcia rematch. And Danny Garcia said no. So, my whole thing is, so why do I, you know, if I don't get a rematch to Ugas, why should the rest of the title holders give me a rematch? Now, him and Terrence Crawford, that's a good fight. Terrence Crawford got a completely different skill set than Jermell Charlo. Crawford is a more complete fighter. Jermell Charlo is a confused fighter. He thinks he's a powerhouse punching, you know, and he thinks he got more power than he do. He got an identity crisis. He's jealous of his brother. When he can stick and move and be a great boxer and be a complete boxer himself, but what Terrence brings to the table is a guy that can slug it out. He can box it. He can bang with the bangers. He can box with the boxers. He can stick with the stickers. He can move with the movers. You know, people might talk about his defense, but when he fought Victor Postal, and he was the lineal type, people say, "Oh, he ain't fought no." When people say that, we know that they don't know nothing about boxing. He fought Victor Postal for the lineal title at 140 pounds. And who else we talked about is fought the lineal title champion? Even you talking about Jermell Charlo. He didn't fight the lineal fight. I mean, Canelo was the lineal. Canelo was technically the lineal guy, even though he lost to Floyd. Well, I think Lara might have been considered lineal. It depends on who you talk to. He fought Lara. He beat Lara. Let's just say Canelo was lineal for beating Lara. It was a close fight. He left the division without passing the torch. So Jermell ain't never fought the lineal. He just was given the lineal because he got all the belts. Errol Spence never fought the lineal at 147 because Keith Thurman was considered the lineal after Floyd and Manny stepped away and lost. He didn't want to fight him. So, to be honest, he ain't too many fighters in boxing who beat the lineal guy. Adonis Stevenson beat Chad Dawson. Alexander Gosvick beat Adonis Stevenson. Better BF beat Gosvick. He's the lineal. So so when you're looking at Terrence Crawford, he beat the guy who beat the guy in Victor Postal. And he fought a perfect fight. He hasn't fought that same fight since he lost the belt because, you know, if you put Crawford in there with Porter, Errol Spence, you're going to get the best Terrence Crawford. I think the best Terrence Crawford is better than anybody at 47. That's just my opinion. But y'all got to remember that Sean Porter's a motherfucker who started off like light heavyweight. Jermell got power, but he ain't no KO artist. I agree. He tried to play a puncher. Sean, the dog, he don't care. Bud is not going to sit there and bang with me. I mean, no, but at some point, you're going to get touched. Naquan. I mean, I ain't seen too many fights that went on past, 2, 3, 4 rounds and ain't nobody get touched. But there ain't no point for him to take that fight. And Al Haymon ain't going to make that fight. Because then it make Errol Spence look bad. But Sean Porter, that makes sense. That's the biggest fight in Sean Porter's career. Matter of fact, that's the biggest fight in Jermell Charlo's career. Charlo don't have no money fights. He had a division that historically not had a lot of money fights. Yes, Floyd and Oscar and Floyd and Canelo, you want a cookie, yeah. Oscar and Floyd really wasn't 54 pounders. I mean, Oscar at the end of his career, he was. Mel is not a puncher. He can punch, but it's not natural. It's something that I don't even feel like explaining. Rosario is a puncher. Rosario don't have to load up to be a puncher. Rosario was touching Jermell and he was hurting. Jermell tries to be a puncher. He likes to load up on his shots. That's what he's talking about. His punching power ain't natural. He just ain't touching you when you dropping. He got to wind that motherfucker up to generate power. You play with Julian Jackson. Julian Jackson, you know, he'd pop, and you would drop. And people say, oh, that was a soft-ass shot. No, that was a good shot. Jermell Charlo is not a big puncher. He's a good puncher at 154, but he's not a heavy puncher. He don't have naturally heavy hands like his brother. Everything he do, he tries to artificially generate power. That's what I'm saying. When you see him punch, it ain't. Look at the punches that you see. You see Matisse punch. You see Madonna punch. You see Charlo punch. He can wind that motherfucker up to Kentucky and try to throw it. Oh, Carson Wentz fumbled the snap. Oh, he got it back. Oh, did he? Yeah, he got it back. Naquan Gang salute. Appreciate it in the super chat. He tried to load it up and he tried to generate power. I got this new damn phone. I got this damn new note. He did catch Rosario with some hard counters. Like, Rosario can't take a punch, though, bro. Just been telling y'all that. He ain't no... Like, Gallimore is a natural puncher. Not saying he a better fighter than Jermell, but he's a natural puncher. Everything Jermell do, he got to manufacture power. It ain't just natural. I mean, you can believe what you want to believe. I ain't here to change people's minds. Take salute. Everything. I mean, he ain't gonna fight nobody that's gonna challenge him. That's just the truth. Ain't nobody at 54 that's complete enough. Maybe Castanos. That's about it. That's about it. But Sean Porter and Jermell, that's a good fight. Do I want to see Sean Porter and Errol Spence 2? If I want to see Sean Porter and Errol Spence 2, I'd rather see it November 21st. I can care less. If Sean Porter move up, I respect him. Oh, Hurt was fake sparring Efe and Jabwe on his Instagram. The other dude, Fondora, can't punt. Man, I can't tell. I ain't never seen nobody bitch slap Nathaniel Gallimore around. Shit, he was dog walking Gallimore. I can't tell that he can't punch. Shit, I don't know what you talking about. That motherfucker was dog walking Gallimore ass. He dog. I ain't never seen nobody dog Gallimore like that. And Gallimore stopped. He stopped Rosario. He ended up hurting Rosario with a left hook he never recovered from. Rosario can't take it. So I told you he was going to lose an 8, and what'd he do? Lose an 8. But yeah, I got any questions? I'll take them real quick because I ain't staying on super long. Somebody had a question earlier. Accumulation of punches is not just a hard puncher. I don't know what that meant. Accumulation of punches. You mean not one shot that just make you a hard puncher? That's what you mean? Yeah, it's more pressure. Somebody asked me, can Floyd help Wilder? I don't know. It might be too late. That was the question. I'm telling y'all, Jermell Charlo is just in the right division. Y'all want to believe me? He's just in the right division. If you put him in there with Sergio Martinez or Canelo, they're. I mean, either he gonna get Canelo, or Canelo gonna get him. But he's just in the right place at the right time. That's all I can say. Truck was trying to act like he ain't know who was Fondora. Who was Truck? The dude from Baltimore? It's another the Rails got a nephew that's at 154 that's like 6'4", 6'5". Leon Lawson III. Castanos is the fight to make for Jermell. I think that's the dude to beat him. Yeah, possibly. That's a great fight. Now they want to do Castanos versus Teixeira first. The highlights of the Lubin career is getting KO. I don't see the second fight no different. I mean, he might go longer. I don't see he can't take that power. His defense ain't good enough to avoid it long enough. And Charlo, they carry power into the later rounds too. They don't get tired, so Wanna see me do my dance in these $1,000 pants? Whole lot of choppers. That's my song. Lawson Cool, he trained with Kanye. Yeah, that's the Darrell's nephew. He another tall. Lawrence Williams was trying to get him and Fandora to fight. I said, that's hella premature, bro. Oh, Jalen Hurts in the game. Hey. He didn't get the first 9. It was like 4th and 34. Any more questions? Did Carson Wentz get hurt or something? Or that was just a trick play? I don't know. Jimmy Garoppolo missed 2 games. Morstead missed 2 games. Tevin Coleman missed 2 games. Nick Bosa out for the season. D Ford 3 games. Solomon Thomas out for the season. Drake Greenlaw 2 games. Richard Sherman 3 games. Emmanuel Mosley 1 game. Kilo Weatherspoon 2. Man, they whole team in the hospital. Jalen Hurts playing. I might tune in. I think that was a trick play. I ain't sure. It's 7-8. They about to go in the half. That shit was a boring ass game. But any more boxing? He said Truck had all that energy for Joey Spencer. Energy changed up for Fandora. Yeah, I ain't never seen that boy fight. Is he any good? Watch out for Kashad Elliott, 54, who just recently signed with Top Rank. All right, cool. He black. Jamaica Hall, what do you think about Wilder accepting Floyd? He ain't accepted it. Did he accept it? He ain't gonna accept that. Floyd can't say him, bro. You can't teach that dog new tricks. You know, they gonna need a whole year to teach him new tricks. They should have started as soon as he got knocked out. I don't know. I just seen him talk a lot of shit. I think somebody dogged him in sparring the other day. I don't know. He just young. And he with Eddie Hearn. I did. I lose a little bit of respect for every black fighter that signed with Eddie Hearn. I'm just joking. I need you to drop a weekly. I ain't trying to talk about that shit, man. I forgot all about that shit. Any more questions? They got the 49ers backed up on A3 or 4, my bad. I know they gonna hand that hoe off. Yep. All right, man. No more questions. I'm gonna wait for 1 more minute. Boop, boop, boop. Don't forget, head over to Lion Killer Podcast. He interviewing Stephen Bradman, former coach of Julian J. Rock Williams. I don't know who J. Rock training with no more. So check out the Lion Killer Podcast. Let me see if they live. Yeah, they live right now. So yeah, I'm gonna head over there. Appreciate y'all. Share the videos. Want to make a donation? Just share the video. But Cash App, PayPal, description. Y'all know what it is. Till next time, we gone.